A big hello and very good afternoon to all the champs. Hope you have completed all the previous 5 videos. In case if you have jumped in directly to video number 6, I reckon you going back and checking all the lectures from part number 5 to from part number 1 to part number 5 actually. And if in case you have jumped in directly, so because part number 1 to 5 is the prerequisite for completing today's lecture, right? It would be better if you get the complete perspective and the idea of the basics of Python before we can move and get started with class number 6. So let's get started quickly and let's jump into IDLE. So now this is the first time now we will be completely doing things over IDLE. So let me open a new file and let me save this file as class 1, or let's say class. It's not going to be class 1, I reckon. It's going to be class 6. So let's save it as class 6. Okay. And now then we have saved this as class 6. Let me quickly go and open it up for you guys. So I've opened NetBeans as well, right? Okay. So this is my class 6 ideally. Alright. So let's start programming right from the beginning. Alright. Okay, so now what we have learned so far in previous lectures, we saw that we can take dynamically, and we learned that we can take dynamic data, we can take inputs dynamically from user, just like this. Num1 is equivalent to, let's take it as input. I want to take input, and input takes a parameter, right? What is the message? You're going to take input, yeah, that's fine. But what is the message that you want to give to user? So the message is, please, you have to show respect. Please enter num1, and let's make it a bit user friendly, right? Or let's assign is equivalent to right here. So the moment you go to the command prompt and you run, you'll see that you get this option, right? Please enter num1. So this is going to hold, right? Unless you enter num1, the Python shell is going to hold you, right? Once you have entered num1, then Python shell is going to ask, please enter num2. So once you enter both the numbers, what is it that you want to do with num1 and num2? I say s is equivalent to num1 plus num2. And you know that I'm in habit of terminating this, every now and again. They ask me to record lectures about Java and other things, right? So I was just recording Enterprise Java lecture, and there I'm in habit of terminating everything. You ignored my habit. This is very bad. Yeah, I know that it's not recommended to terminate statements in Python. So my mistake. I really apologize, and I take all my comments and terminators away. So now this is the statement. The end of the statement is going to be judged by the enter key. So this is first statement and this is second statement. All right, so let us run. All right, please enter num1, which is going to be 100, and please enter num2, which is going to be 200, right? And now we are not doing anything, right? And now if you're adding them, give response back. It's about request and response, right? So you say either you can do this, the sum of two numbers is equivalent to, and now close the string, as it can take two parameters, the enclosed string within quotes, and it can take the result as well. So is, and then you are going to get this sum right here. But yeah, we are not going to get the desired result. Please enter num1, that is 10. Please enter num2, that's 30. We should get 40, but we are just getting 1030, as I have told you earlier. Alright, that any input taken either from the browser, from anywhere, be it any programming language, input is always going to be taken as plain string, right? So what we do with string, we do not add strings. So let me document it. What we do with strings is, strings are concatenated. So we concatenate strings with plus sign, right? And right, int and float, right? Only int and float can perform right? Math operations, or with plus, minus, and anything like that, right? So now once the input is taken as plain string, it's your duty to explicitly, right, to explicitly convert it to integer before you add them, right? All right, let's start doing that. So what I do, before I take this num1 and I num2, I can directly apply it here, or I can apply it here as well, right? So let me show you. Num1, as you know, this is an assignment operator. It assigns whatever is towards right hand side to left hand side. So now what does it indicate? It says assign num1 to num1. So it doesn't make any sense. Why are you assigning num1 to num2? Num1 and num1 has same things, right? But now what I say, get the return of integer function right here, right? So whatever this integer function returns, right, what is this integer function going to return? It's going to return your string being converted to int, right? Now int can perform mathematical operations. That is the same I'll do with num2. So let me copy paste. Num2 is going to be, now send num2, because num2 is string, num1 is also string, right? Because input is taken as string. Now send num1 to int function. It converts and parses. Conversion and parsing are same thing. So it parses the string to integer and it converts the string to integer. After converting it, let us see the output. Right? Enter num1, which is 100. Enter num2 100, we should get 200 rather than 100 we are getting now 200. It means that we have been able to successfully convert, right? So it's called as, I'll document it for you, parsing, right? Parsing or converting, right? So you're converting string to integer. This is the method of converting string to integer. But we have a problem here, right? For example, if I give 10 and I give 10, absolutely fine. The addition is 20. Now if I give 2.6 plus 2.4, right, and we are getting an error. The error is invalid literal for int, right? You are taking string values, that's quite understood, right? It's understood that we are taking string values and then we are converting those string values to integer. But hold on a sec, we do not find anything like that. Integer doesn't know what floating point representation variables are, because integer is 1 to 9, or sorry, 0 to 9. It's integer, right? And anything with dotted decimal notations like this, 2.3, 1.7, 7.7, anything which has floating point representation, right, is not recognized by int, right? It's recognized by float. So we'll have to change it to float. So all the mathematical operations, it is better to do every and each mathematical operation with float. You never know when your answer is going to come as a floating point representation answer, right? So let us go ahead and execute it. Absolutely right. So now we can see that we can type 2.4 plus 2.6 and that is going to be 5.0. All right. So now we can see that we have specific containers. As I keep on telling you, if you go to market, you have a different container to buy bread and you have a different container to buy milk. Do you buy milk in the same container you buy bread from? No, that may have holes. Bread is still not going to cause any problem. Your basket is not going to cause any problem with bread. But yeah, the basket may not be able to handle milk. So same is the process here. Int cannot be able to, it's not able to handle floating point representation values. For that, you'll have to use float. And number second thing, right, so this is an overhead. Overhead means that you're overdoing it. You can still do it at the runtime, right? You can do it at runtime. You can say, hey, wait a second, I need to convert you to float. Send the entire string to float, right? Send entire string to float. And now your input, first what is going to happen? Internal bracket is going to get executed, all right? So which is input, please enter num1 and please enter num2. So this is going to take input from the user and then it's going to send it to float for convergence because you're taking input as string, and then num1 is going to have floating variables value and num2 is also going to have floating values. Rather than doing it separately, it's better to do them here only. So let us run Alright, so now if I say 2.4 plus 2.6 is 5.0. So now we have been able to achieve it so far, and I suppose you also have learned all of the things, right? Okay, now let me show you another thing, right? I shown you previously, but yeah, I'll show you again. The sum of the zeroth number, right? The sum of 0 and 1 is 2. The sum of 0 and 1 is 2. What is this 0 and what is this 1 and what is this 2? You'll have to give it only after defining the format function. So I'll say format, right? Format means many of you have confusion that, oh, would you please format my memory card? So formatting is not basically deleting data. So that's the misconception and the misnomer, right? This is the misconception we are living in. Formatting does not mean clearing the data or deleting the data, but yeah, it deletes data. It looks like it has deleted data, but formatting, the actual definition of formatting is creating file system. Why do I keep on repeating these things, right? Our job is not only to learn for the sake of learning, right? We have to take care of two things. We have to pass examinations, number one. We have to clear interviews, right? Number two. And that's what I'm trying to do, right? Now, I have seen many students who are wonderful, great developers, best software engineers. They yet fail in interviews. Why? Because they're not able to explain themselves, right? Okay, now I know that you know. You yourself also know. There are certain things that you know, right? But what is the fun of knowing things that you cannot explain? Right? If I ask you, what is this? Right? This is plus sign. What is it doing? It is adding two numbers, right? It's simple. You have answered. Now, what is this? No, it is not is equivalent to. What is this? It is not is equivalent to. In programming, this means assignment. So this is an assignment operator, sir. We are assigning the values of right hand side to values of left hand side. What is happening? What does float do here? It's parsing the input, because input is taken as string. So we have to parse it or convert it explicitly so that we can handle all the arithmetic or all the mathematic operations. That is the answer. Now format means creating file system or creating a system. If I tell you, go and open your wardrobe, right? Or maybe go and open your bag and format all the books in correct order. Would you go and throw your books away? No. No. If formatting means deleting everything, why don't you go and throw them away? No, you will not throw them away. Why? Because formatting doesn't mean throwing things away. Formatting means correcting things in a particular order, right? So always answer. And remember, because we are in habit of memorizing things right from nursery class up to the class we are in right now, what we have been learning, we have been not learning actually, we have been memorizing things to pass the examination. So that is what our goal has been. That's why if any ambition that is not planned, it remains a wish. I repeat, any ambition that is not planned remains a wish, right? So you need to differentiate between a wish and you need to differentiate between ambition. Ambition requires planning, wish does not require anything. You can keep on dreaming the entire day. Alright, so that is why I say that rather than memorizing things, I know many of you are now exposed to practical trainings, alright, because you are in habit of memorizing and passing examinations. What we do, we students, we don't study for our entire year, right? As soon as the date sheet is out, we go inside and we lock ourselves inside rooms and start memorizing things, not learning them. So now this is the learning environment. We are creating that environment wherein we don't only memorize but learn things basically, right? So this is the practical environment that you are slowly and steadily going to get used to. You're not going to get used to this environment right from the word go. No, it's not going to happen, right? Python is very easy. Believe me, Python is so easy that now Python is even in CBSE syllabus. Now an 8th class student can know Python, 9th class, 10th class will know Python. Why? Because it's proven that learning programming not only makes you developers but increases abstract thinking, problem solving and whatnot. Right? What you need to be patient. Now if you ask me, sir, what is the requirement? What is the requirement for being a developer? I will say the requirement for being a developer or learning Python or any other programming language is patience. Does not require any intelligence, right? It requires patience, 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 and patience. And many of you want to be great developers and programmers just overnight. So now things are not going to happen overnight, right? You'll have to be patient, you'll have to wait, and I will make sure that the time will come. So now I'll give you an example. So whenever you learn, let's say about you have your past experiences as well. When you open chapter number 1 and start learning chapter number 1, chapter number 1 at that time looks very difficult, right? Now, but once you move from chapter number 1 to chapter number 10, and while learning chapter number 10, if you take a look back at chapter number 1, you'll find chapter number 1 very easy. Why? Because now you are at chapter number 10. Chapter number 1 is very easy for you. But now, if you go to from chapter number 10 to chapter number 20, now you can see that chapter number 10 was very difficult while learning it, but now chapter number 10 is very easy because I'm learning chapter number 2. So as you process and progress with chapters and topics, right, all the previous things will become easy, right? But the current thing may look a bit, difficult. Not difficult, let's say about complicated for you guys if you're not aware of programming. And please believe me, it does not require any prerequisite. It does not have any prerequisite. Right? So you should not be having knowledge of programming prior to that. You're going to get it easily. But yeah, you need to be patient, as you'll not be able to get 100% right from the word go. And patience till the last class is going to help you guys, right? So unless you're patient, so that's what is going to help you. So right, so and take guidance from your instructors, because your instructors will also students, right? Okay, let's concentrate back on the learnings. Now what I say, taking input, converting it to float, taking input second, converting it to float, adding them, and now I say print the sum of 0. What is 0? And 1 and 2, right? The sum of 0 and 1 is 2. Now for that we call the format function. As I said, format means, yeah, creating a system, right? Okay, so now I will pass here num1. So the first parameter that you pass in the format function will go to this 0. And the second parameter will go to this 1, and the third will go to this 2, right? So which is sum. So this is the sum of 0, 1 is 2, the sum of num1 and num2 is s, right? So it's as simple as anything, so need not to worry about. Okay, 10 and 20, you can see the sum of 10.0. Why do we have 10.0 and 20.0? Because we are taking and converting them to float, is 30. The sum of 10 and 20 is 30. So why do we have is equivalent to right here? So we should not have it. Okay, let's run it again. The sum of 22.44, so let me 22.44 and 33.2 is the sum of 22.44 and 33.2 is 55.64. Or let us try few more complicated things. Alright, so let me show you. Alright, so let's see 2.6 and 2.1 is 4.7, right? So this is how your thing is going to work. 2.33, right? And I will add it to 7.1. So now you can see it's 9.43. Now if you give more complex numbers, right, if you give more complex numbers like 101.111 plus 123.44 is equal to 224.551. Now what we can do here is that sum, right here we have the sum right here. We can say please assign the round. I need the round off of num1 plus num2. So if you require that round off, now you can see that 2.44 and 2.11 is equal to 5. So it's a round of 5, right? So round off is going to give you a round figure, right? The nearest one. Or you can use floor and seal. And for that we may have to import maths. It's going to throw an error. We are going to get error 2.1 plus 3.11 is going to throw. Floor is not defined, right? Because you're using something that you have not defined. So let's define it. I will say import. I've just seen in the previous class import maths as m, and then we can call m.floor. It's as good as asking, for example, you have a refrigerator. What do you take out of that refrigerator? So that refrigerator is maths, and you take, no, you don't take everything out of the refrigerator. You require only floor. You said then, hey maths, give me floor, right? And you're going to check floor. Floor means the downside of it, right? And what is the downside of it? So maths. No, it's not maths, it's math. Right, so 2.3 and 2.5 is going to be 4. So the downside of it is 4, and you know that the ceiling and floor, you know that seal is top and floor is the bottom side, okay? Just like we have floor and seal in houses. So 2.33 plus 2.11 is going to be 5. So the seal is 5 here. Alright, if you want to know the perfect figure, alright, so the perfect figure without using round and without using seal, you can even check the perfect figure, no problem. Alright, so you can say I want to get 2.11 plus 2.33. Now you can see it's 4.4, and the floor of 4.4 is 4, and the seal, the maximum of 4.4 is 5, right? So the maximum it can go till 5, the minimum it can go, and the round off, it's basically, if you say round is going to show if it is 4.4, it's only 4. If it's above 4.5, then it is 5, right? So that's what round is going to do, and that's what happens using round. All right, I hope you have understood it nicely. If you're having any problem, please let me know down in the comment section. All right, okay, now what else can we take input as? What else can we take as input to be more precise? So let me just get rid of this. Yeah, let me tell you one more thing. The sum of this, and this, right? You can either say the sum of, you can apply normal technique, concatenation. So now you can say the sum of two numbers is equivalent to, without calling this format function, as I've shown you earlier, is the sum of two numbers is s, and yet it is going to work without any problems. Let's say 10 plus 20 is equivalent to what happens as dot, sorry, comma. Alright, so this is also going to happen. So 10 plus 20 is equivalent to 30, so it works like a pro. Okay, now let me show you one more thing. For example, if I want to take a particular input, right, and I want to take char, right, so I want to take this input as char only. So let's say, please enter a char value. So now you are asking user to please enter a char value, right, and that's what you are doing here, right, and you are printing val, and you are printing val here, right? So we cannot print values in quotes. Quotes will take only strings, not variables. Variables can never be inside quotes, only strings can be inside quotes, right? So now what you are doing here, you are taking input, asking user to provide you input. Input takes one parameter. This is the message you give to user. After giving the message, whatever user provides will be assigned, because we're using assignment operator, will be assigned back to this val variable, and you will print the val variable, as simple as anything. So now if I give you, let's say if I give a, so I get a, right? But now what is my intention? My intent is to take only char value, right? So if you remember, char values are single character. It cannot be a string. Char values can never be string, right? Char value is only one character, right? So but now if the user says hello, you're even taking hello, what is the fun? You're not doing validation correctly, right? Validation and verification is the main process of software engineering. Alright, so please enter a char value. Char means you have to make sure that user enters. Your users are prone for mistakes, right? So they're meant to do mistakes. So for that, what you got to do is you have to make sure that if the user enters a character value, it's good. Even if user enters string, still take it as character value. For that, what you can do, it doesn't matter whatever you enter, I'm going to show only character value. So hello, the first character, right? For example, if the user enters hello, you are going to print only the first one, right, of the element, because it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now when you take the 0th one, you're going to print only h, right? So let me run it. And say if I print, let's say about, if I print h, it's absolutely no problem, right? But yeah, what if in case I hit hello or I type hello, I'm still going to take one h. So now what is happening here? Let me document it, right? Take full string from the user, display only the first character. And now the job of a software engineer is as that of, okay, let me get rid of this. The job of a software engineer should not only be to do the job, it should be to reduce the memory, right? It should be to take to have as less errors as he can. Now let me give you some rough idea. Here, what is the fun? You are taking entire string from the user. Let's see. You are taking entire string from the user and then you are displaying only one, but do not forget you are still taking the entire string. Can I do something? Take only the first character from the user, right? Take only first character from the user, right? Okay, out of anything he types, and here display the character. Now you can see I can, instead of converting the character here, I can take character number 0 at the time of input. When user provides input, I'm not going to take all the string. I'm not going to take full string. At the time when user provides input, I'm only interested in taking the first digit, right? Or the first character. So that's how it goes, right? So now let us see the difference, right? So please enter a char value, and that is going to be let's say about, if I enter HELLO or if I enter H, I'm going to take H, right? So that's no problem at all. But in case if I enter HELLO, I'm still going to take H. Now what is the difference here? And what is the difference between the previous code and this code? So let us take a look at the difference between the previous and this code right here. So this is the new one and this is the, we don't require this math. We don't require this math now, right? So let us take a look. Here what are we doing? Take full string from the user. We're taking entire string from the user. Here we are taking entire string from the user, right? And what are we doing it? Right, so after taking the entire string, right, we are displaying only the first character, but we are taking it now. We're still taking it. We're still consuming a lot of memory. We're still doing too much of efforts for taking the string, right? So the better way is not to take the full string and display the first character. No, at the time, because you are asking user, hey user, intelligent enough to understand that you have to enter a character value, which is one char at a time, one character at a time, right? So it doesn't matter whatever you enter. I am going to take from the input. I repeat, from the input, I'm going to take only the first character and then I'm going to display that, right? Here I'm displaying the first, taking the full. Here I am displaying the full but taking only one. So that is going to be fun, right? So just give me a moment, I'll come. Right, so we have understood that we can still follow these operations, right, and make sure that the data is validated and we're not taking any invalid data from the user, right? And we also seen the difference it creates displaying them and taking them, right? It creates a lot of difference, right? Okay, so let's start with another part of it, right? So what if you get a demand tomorrow, right, wherein you have to evaluate an expression rather than execute? You need evaluation of regular expressions. By evaluation, what do I say or what do I want? Let me say you are taking value. Please enter a value. Okay, no problem. Please enter an expression. All right. So you're asking that please enter an expression, and you are printing that expression here. Now what if the expression is something like this? Please enter an expression. And what if the expression is something like this? I want 10 plus 20 plus 40, right? So now you can say you are getting 10 plus 20 plus 40. You're printing because you're taking input as string and you're printing it as string, no problem. But I repeat, I want the evaluation of arbitrary code execution. I want you to evaluate this, right? So how do you evaluate it? What I can do right here, I can say value will be assigned a value only after the value is evaluated. So eval is a function that we use for evaluation. Now you're taking input as string, that goes to val. Val is evaluated and reassigned. This is assignment operator. I repeat, assignment operator. Val is evaluated and it is reassigned to val, and then you're printing val. So now what is this eval going to do? And let me do this again. So I will say 10 into 2 plus 10. How much is that? That's going to be 30, I suppose. Yeah, 30, because multiplication, BODMAS rules, multiplication will happen first. Alright? So now this has evaluated. So let me try and give some more complex material right here. Okay, the complex material. Let's say we have 10 into 20, right? Or we can say 10 plus 20 into 20 minus 10, and then we can say, right, divided by 5. So now it's a complete complex material that I have typed here. Now I need evaluation. Now I get an evaluation. Take pen and take copy, evaluate it on pen and check whether my Python is showing right results or wrong. Right? So now you can see the magic of Python right here. It doesn't only take the input and does subtraction, multiplication and rest of the thing. It also evaluates the input, right, and gives you an evaluated output. Now, what is this called as? Eval. Eval for evaluation of anything that you give it as input. Yeah, you can apply the same. I know, you might be thinking that can we do the same we did with int? Yeah, we can do. At the time when you take input, send it to evaluation, and yet you are going to get evaluated output without even reassigning to the variable. You are taking input and evaluating it. So right, 4 into 2 plus 1, that's 9. Yeah, you're getting 9, right? So this is how your eval function is going to work, right? And now let us come back to true variables, right? For example, we have seen char. Let me document it for you guys. Have we seen char? Yes, we have seen char. What else have we seen? We have seen string. What else have we seen? We have seen integer. What else have we seen? We have seen float. So we are now, what is bool, right? Or boolen, bool or boolean, right? Now let us take a look at this. If anything that is as that of single character, right? Anything or any single character is known as char, and collection of characters is known as string, like hello world, right? Even space is taken as char, right? Sorry, okay. And now let me go back and see. What is integer? 100 is integer. What is float? 10 point anything, decimal values or floating point representation values. And what is bool? It can either be true or false. Now, if a variable that contains a single character, right, will be as that of char, and any variable that contains string will be as type of string. 100, int, float, and boolean. Let's try all of them. I will say, let's say val is equivalent to 100, and what is the type of val? We've already seen we are going to get int. Alright, and now say val is equivalent to 100.11, and what is the type of val? And the type of val is float. Okay, and now val is equivalent to a single character c. What is the type of val? Alright, so it is of type string, because character is only one and still taken as string, right? But yeah, character is only one, right? Because string is collection of characters. So I can say val is equivalent to ABCD, right? And can say type of val, you can easily see it's again str string. Now if I say val is equivalent to capital TRUE, remember I told you previously that Python is a case sensitive programming language, and right, it takes, now if I say val is equal to small t, so it's going to throw an error, right? True is not defined, right? This true is not defined in the library of Python, right? So what is defined is, so val is equal to capital TRUE, right? So now val has true, or let's say val2 has false, right? Now what is the type of val here? You're getting bool, right? Okay, I have misspelled. Type of val is bool, hip hip hooray, right? So what is the type of val2? It contains false. So it doesn't matter whether it is true or false. Val2 contains false, it's still bool, and val1 contains true, it's still bool, right? So always remember this, right? Boolean is true or false, float is what is in front of you, integer is integer digits without decimals, string is a collection of characters, and character is a single char value, right? That is represented in floating point representation with decimal. Alright, so far you understood it, and now let me go back to the most interesting part of this tutorial, right? So let me tell you, right? Let's say Raju is true, right? He's truthful, maybe, who knows. Now Raju is a name of variable and it has true. Now what if I say I want to check whether Raju is true or Raju is false? For example, for that, if we will communicate in simple English, if I'm telling, hey Python brother, hey brother, tell me if Raju is equivalent to, hold on a second. Now you'll say, sir, what is this double is equivalent to? I'll go back, because I'm born to go back and re-explain things to you, right? So I will be, I'll be cordial enough in approach to tell you that this is called assignment, right? So many times have I said this. Remember, interviews, exams, right? So these things matter, right? So this is called as assignment. What assignment? Operator. So this is called as an assignment operator, and this is called as comparison, right? And this is assignment operator, and this is comparison operator. Now what does assignment operator do? Right? Assignment assigns from RHS to LHS. I keep on telling this. For example, val is equivalent to 10, right? So what is RHS? 10. To LHS is val. So now 10 is assigned with single is equivalent to, it is assigned to val. It is not is equivalent to. No, it can never be is equivalent to, right? It is different than mathematics here. This is assignment, right? 10 is assigned to val. Now what is this? Comparison. Whether, right? I will say val, so I'll say is val1 is equivalent to val2. Tell me. Right? For example, now you have understood what comparison is. Double is equivalent to is comparison, single is assignment. Now if I say val1 is equivalent to 10, val2 is equivalent to 11, then I say I'm asking you this question, is val1 is equivalent to val2? You'll say no sir, val1 is not is equivalent to val2. Right? If I use single is equivalent to, that means val2 will be assigned to val1. Val1 has 10. Now you're taking value out of val2 and assigning it to val1. Now both are having 11. Val1 will have 11 and val2 will also have 11. Now that's not the case, right? What I try and say and make you understand is that that we want to compare. To compare, we have to use double is equivalent to. Now is val1, which is 10, is equivalent to val2? No, val2 is 11, so I'll get false. Now if I keep 10 here, now tell me, is val1 is equivalent to val2? Yes, true, right? So this is how it works. Now that's what I am doing. Raju has true. We have assigned a boolean type to Raju, which is true. Now if Raju is true, so if statement, imagine that everything here, if you are using, if you are fond of any other programming language, or you have learned any other language before this or prior to this language, you must be aware that right, we use braces, curly braces for if and else statements. Here we are not going to use any statements, and those who are new, let me tell them. And this is the statement. What do you call this? This is the statement, and this is called as, this is known as conditional formatting, right? So condition is if Raju is equivalent to true, unless this condition is valid, right? If this condition is true, then and only the body of the if is going to be executed. How do you define the body? Just by giving a space. So this is if, and this is again in line with if. The body can never be in line with if. Hit tab key, T-A-B key. Tab key is just over on top of your or we can say just on top of caps lock key. You can find T-A-B key. Tab means 5 spaces at 4 spaces at a time, right? 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So tab means 4 spaces at a time. You can try and hit tab. Right, after hitting the tab key, now you are defining the body of this body of the if statement. So I'll say if it is true, no problem, then print yeah, Raju is true. Right. If not, then what? You will say if it is not true, then define. Now you have to define the body of else. Now semicolon, and the moment you hit this colon, not semicolon, shift and semicolon, right, is going to give you this colon. Okay, so now you hit enter. You can see automatically you are assigned here. You'll go automatically when you hit enter key, you are automatically going inside the body of else, right? I will say print no, he is a liar, right? Okay, and let's run this. We should get, okay, we have this problem here. We are not closing the string. All right, save and run. Yeah, Raju is true. Now if I say Raju is false, right, else will be executed. No, he is a liar. So now what is happening, right? So unless the statement here is true, Raju is equivalent to true. Is Raju true? No, Raju is this time false. So the body of if is not going to be executed, right? It is going to jump to else and execute the body of else right here, right? Because if do this, if not, then this, right? If you can buy water, buy water. If you cannot buy water, buy let's say about cold drink. So you give him 2 options. If you can buy, either buy water or buy cold drink, right? So if you cannot find water, find something else. So that's what is happening right here. If it is true, then do this. Now why is alignment so important? If I do not, let's say about I don't align it, how will the Python, right, know which is the body of the if and which is the body of the else? So it will not be able to guess. Now you can see expected and indented block. You're getting an error. Right? Where is, you have not indented. Indent can be possible with single space also. Yeah, I'll get else error now. Expected and indent block. Yeah, I can indent it with single space. That is also possible. Yeah, he is a liar. Now it's working as expected. But it is recommended to give 1 tab as a space so that it is evident. You can see it's evident, quite evident, that this print is inside the body of if, and this else is inside the body of else, right? So this line is inside the body of else, and this line is inside the body of. So let me show you once again. Right? Let us say val1, or let us say num1 is equivalent to 10, num2 is equivalent to 20, and now I say if num1 is equal to, imagine comparison operator, remember this always. If num1 is equal to num2, the statement is done. I will close down the statement. Now define the body of if. Close the statement by this column, go inside the body of if, right? Automatically you'll see that you are inside the body. Yeah, you have, even if you are not, you can hit once tab. Right, now define the body of if and then say print yes it is, right? And then if it is not, right, define else. Print inside the body again, print no it is not, right? Okay, so let us run and check. No, it is not. Why? Because 10 and 20 are not equal, but 10 and 10 are equal. Now we should get yes, it is. Now can we take it as input? Yeah, we can take it as input. All right, so we'll say input. Let me try this. Enter num1. Let me make it user friendly. Input. All right, let me tell it like this. Enter num2 documentation, okay, or maybe indentation or documentation really. Now we know that we are comparing integer values, so we can convert them to integer and take the entire line of code inside this int, because I keep on repeating this, I'll keep on hammering you. Even if you're not understanding, I'll hammer it so many times. Every, if is going to be repeated in 60% of the classes, 70% of the classes. That's input is going to be repeated everywhere, right? So you are going to remember it, only you need to be patient, right? So I will not stop hammering you guys. All right, so let's stick 10 and 11. So no, it is not. Now let me try once again. Okay, 10 and 10. Yes, it is. Now see, this is the magic of programming. If this, then do this. If this is not, then do something else. So that's what programming is so so much interested, right? This is why we have so much interest in programming, and now we can even go ahead and do some things, or maybe a lot of things with if and else. And now we are trying to do what we are trying to do here. We are mixing now. We're taking dynamic inputs. We are mixing power. We're mixing square root. We're mixing the floor, seal, round. Now we're using everything, maths, and now each and everything, right? Convergence, static convergence, dynamic convergence, converting at the time of taking, or differently converting, using if and using else, and many different things. What if now, let's say about you are having more than one statement, right? What if you have more than one statement? Not only if and else is there, but we are having more than one statements. For that, what we will do, right? Or let me basically give you ample amount of time so that you practice, and then we'll come back again and do this once again, right? I want you guys to practice very hard, and before we move, I need to read all the questions, and I request you guys, and it's highly appreciated you. It's really appreciated, that if you could go down in the comment section, answer the question, right? And the question for today is going to be very important, and when you will see the reward of these questions, then you will understand why these questions and what these questions were for. Right? I'm not going to expose my surprise for you guys, but yeah, you need to answer, and your answers are going to get counted sooner or later in one way or another. They are going to get counted, and answers after 24 hours are of no use, right? Please answer, what is conditional formatting, and what are the different ways of conditional formatting in Python? Now this is your question. What is conditional formatting? Question mark. Right? And I'll use a question mark here. There are actually two questions, right? and what are different ways of conditional formatting in Python. So please answer down in the comment section. Valid answer, the answer you have understood, right? Understand it before answering. Do not only copy and paste from Google. Understand and then answer. And this is surely going to help in the next class, right? And do answer very quickly and do your attendance on time, and do practice this and let me know if I can help you down in the comment section, right? And I wish you all the best and all the great health, and take good food, eat healthy, and think better. Bye bye, take care.